Ladies and gentlemen, the 2024 Daily Motor Car of the Year, the Hyundai Santa Fe. Hyundai redesigned the Santa Fe dramatically for the 2024 model year, and they gave us two powertrain options, a 2.5 liter turbocharged 8-speed automatic gas-only version, and then a hybrid powertrain, which we reviewed earlier last year. This one, the one you're looking at, is technically a 2025, but I got the car back in order to go over what made us choose the Santa Fe over all of the other cars we drove throughout 2024 as the best car on the new car market. When I'm evaluating a vehicle for holistic evaluation, when I'm going from something like a Porsche 911 into a Ford Super Duty and then into something like a Santa Fe, how do I rationalize comparing one of those to another when they're so dramatically different? For me, it comes down to three main criteria. One, how would the car be to own? Two, how is it to drive? And three, and arguably most importantly, how well does it execute its mission? So in this video, we're going to talk about how the Santa Fe excelled above all of the other cars I drove in all three of those categories. So first things first, if you do want to see more on the Santa Fe, check the link below. We've got full coverage on the hybrid version that we drove earlier last year, and then I'm going to do full coverage on this XRT gas model as well for 2025. And you can find those all linked below. But let's start off with how would this car be to own. The one you're looking at right now is about $41,000 in front of us, but the Santa Fe itself starts way down around $35,000. So what are you getting for that price? Well, you're getting either a hybrid powertrain, which gets fantastic fuel economy for the size of vehicle, or you're getting a gasoline engine that has a pretty remarkable amount of power for this class. And then you're getting 7 rows of seating. That's huge if you're a family of 4 or above and you want to be able to take yourself, your partner, your 2 kids, and maybe some of their friends around and still have some room for stuff. But you're not getting into as large and cumbersome or rough or expensive of a vehicle as something like a full-size SUV. So if we pop open this rear hatch area, look how low this seating lift surface is. So I'm about 5'10", it's about mid-high thigh for me. So it would be easy to get things in and out of here, and you still have some space. Now you're not gonna be loading this up with luggage while having the third row up. I believe we can kind of recline that up. Yep, still have these seats functional. Give ourselves a little bit of extra room. You could probably fit a stroller sideways here, and a little bit of under storage. You got your jack and some of your accessories. You could put some blankets or emergency kit down there. You've got some area for stuff on the sides. And then you can easily fold these seats down. Actually, let's get the seatbelt out of the way. Why is that there? Why would they think that plugging these seatbelts in is a good idea? Because, look at this. We've got little places to fold the seatbelts back in there when you're not using them regularly. So this is the XRT model, which essentially gets you the same packaging as the SEL. And I think the SEL model is the best to buy. SEL Hybrid is the sweet spot for the Santa Fe. It's going to get you most of the features you want and enough to feel like you're getting a cool new car, but you're not spending all the way up about $50,000 for the calligraphy, which is very nice. But the calligraphy offers things like ventilated seats and 360 cams, nice features, but not must-haves. And then this XRT model costs you a few extra $1,000s, but gets you standard all-wheel drive, a sunroof, all-terrain tires, which should give you a little bit of extra confidence and traction when you're doing dirt roads and off-roading, and then some black badging as well. But look at this, now that I have these seats folded perfectly flat into the rear with this non-hybrid model, you've got 150 watt wall style outlet there. We've got third row air vents, and look at this. I can fold these second row seats. Oh, so close up there. Looks like I got to put the front passenger seat just a little bit further up. There we go, look at that. This is a huge amount of space. So if you wanted to do things like Home Depot runs, I mean, you could, well, maybe you couldn't quite fit plywood, but again, I'm 5'10". I can fit in here. I could easily camp in the back of the Santa Fe. I would fit, I'd be comfortable. This is fairly flat. Put a little bit of a mattress surface in here, and I would be just happy. I can even sit up in the back here. So plenty of space for things and activities. I don't think you can raise these back up with the button. Nope, I'll have to reach up there and put them up. Let's pull these. Again, very easy to do, even if you're a smaller individual. And that's something that goes a long way for me when you're looking at a vehicle of this type. Okay, so it's a family car, probably going to be driven equally by smaller people as larger people. If you're a smaller mother or something like that, how easy is it to operate these things? Or are you in a big chunky SUV where it's hard to reach and pull up third row seats? Power the lift gate down. This is kind of a fun little function that the XRT model gets. It's a handle. So if you really want to maximize the usage of your Santa Fe and use the top roof rails, which are full, proper lifted roof rails, and use this handle to help you get up here, take care of things up on the roof, pull yourself back down. This is kind of a fun little thing they got. Pull this up. Look how far that seat reclines. And then press this button. That slides forward. I can let myself into the third row. Now, this is not the type of vehicle that you get if you plan on transporting adults in the third row regularly, because I can fit back here. My headroom is actually better than I would expect, but I wouldn't want to be back here for maybe more than an hour. My knees are pretty high up. I'm not super comfortable. But if I were a smaller child, I'd be plenty fine. I've got air vents, got cup holders. I believe the calligraphy model comes with USB-C ports back here as well. Little lights. I mean, this is a nice place to be. One button push. Get myself back out. Slide this forward and into the second row. So again, we're talking car of the year. How would this be to live with? So if I'm a child back here, or maybe a larger teenager or something like that, I've got center armrest, some cup holders. I have pull-out storage container that has fabric on the bottom, so things aren't going to rattle badly in there. I have the ability to access the center console from the rear. It opens both ways. Very clever there. I've got two USB-C ports here in the back seat to charge my things. Look at these hooks. If you're putting grocery bags back here, you can hook those. I've got air vents that even have the same H design shape as the headlights. I've got handles. No panoramic sunroof in this XRT model, but calligraphy models would get that. Again, nice to be back here. I am sitting upright, comfortable. I can recline the seat a bunch. I can scoot it forward or back. Look how far forward we can go if we want to give those third row passengers a lot more space. Or I move it all the way back. Lots of thoughtfulness. That's what's really struck me with a lot of these Hyundai vehicles over the last few years, is it's as though they spend time in the cars and they think to themselves, okay, how can we make this better for day-to-day living? And it really shows here with this new Santa Fe. Then we get into the front, and again, it keeps showing off how nice it is to use this on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to get in, start it up with that push button right there, and you notice this big open center console area. No shifter, because the shifter is up here on the column away from all of this usable space area. I like the shifter here because this is dead space. This isn't being used for anything practical, so why not put something practical there? Then we get this huge open area with great places to put your phones. I tap my phone right there, and it's wireless charging. If this were the calligraphy model, we get two wireless device chargers right there. So you and your partner can both have their phones charging. Then I've got these giant cup holders right here. This is a 32-ounce metal water bottle, and it still has wiggle room. So you can put just about any sort of drink you could possibly buy from Starbucks, have it fit in there, but the smaller ones do get held in by these adjustable feet. Then we move our way back, and we see the center console that, again, can be opened by the front. It has this removable tray that you can take that little divider out, I guess. And then look how far down that goes. I mean, that is huge. Another adjustable. Man, I can barely even... Wow, it goes forward. My hand is disappearing. There's so much space down there. I remember growing up with my mom's vehicles, she would have so much random junk in there because you just never know when you're going to need tissues or Q-tips or a device charger for something you haven't used in 3 years. That's stuff that lives down there. And again, they utilized this center space so well. Even though this is an all-wheel drive vehicle and you have a drive shaft going through the middle, they still made this functional. And then look at down here. You could totally fit a medium to small size purse. It's grippy down here, again, so stuff doesn't rattle. Plenty of storage space down there. I like seeing that. And as we keep moving up, we see plenty of physical controls. Now, these aren't technically real buttons, but they're at least dedicated physical controls for me to adjust fan speed, climate control, real buttons for many of my infotainment functionalities, as well as drive modes. Continuing up, nice vent placement. Over to the right, storage up here as well as right here. So you can see passenger could have a book or sunglasses or whatever, or cell phones fit into there. And then still a glove box. So you're talking about 3 storage areas right here in front of the passenger, where typically you only get 1. And look at that. They even put, I don't even think you could consider that a storage thing. Something's going to fall out of there. It's pretty small. But they even thought to put something there. And then the door pockets have enough room, again, for full-size water bottles and another thing. And maybe something right there on the side. And then the infotainment system. This supports wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So I've got that running right here. But you still have built-in navigation if you prefer to use that. And a very functional infotainment system right there in front of us. And again, this is the essentially SEL model, and you still get all of this. So as a vehicle to live with, the Santa Fe is fantastic. But what about driving? Well, let's hit the road. Full disclosure, I prefer driving the hybrid. If I were going to purchase myself a Hyundai Santa Fe, it would be the hybrid model. It gets fantastic fuel economy for the size and utility of the vehicle. It's smooth. It's only a $500 price jump for the hybrid, which I think over the course of your ownership, you would see back in fuel savings, especially if you do a lot of city driving. But there would be two main reasons you would go for the gasoline models. And one would be to get this XRT model. This is going to give you just a little bit more off-roading capability. Nothing dramatic, but if you live the type of lifestyle where you do like to go camping or you like to go hiking and there are a lot of dirt roads and trails that you find yourself using, it's going to be a little useful to just have the all-terrain tires from the factory and a little bit more of the extra ruggedness. But admittedly, this isn't anything intense. This isn't going to be the type of vehicle that you go and do Toyota 4Runner type things with. However, if you are somebody who likes towing things, little travel trailers or jet skis or something like that, you might want to get the XRT model because it bumps your maximum tow rating up to 4,500 pounds, which for a unibody crossover like this at this price point is a pretty good amount. I mean, you're not going to be seeing much over 5,000 pounds or so in this type of vehicle. So that would be the reason to go up to the 2.5 liter, technically stay down with the 2.5 liter here, but to option for the XRT package, because the gasoline models that are not XRT, I believe, are 3,500 pounds towing, and then the hybrid is even lower than that. I'll put it up here below the screen. It's probably 2,000. But what struck me spending time driving the Santa Fe is how refined this driving experience is for this price point. Especially the hybrid calligraphy model. I prefer driving that over plenty of full-on luxury vehicles at much higher prices. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars more. That was a $50,000 car that we had, and I didn't want to get out of it. It was simply easy. Everything between the materials you touch, the steering, the throttle, the interior cabin noise, the visibility, the functionality of everything. It's just a nice car to conduct your daily driving in. This one with the all-terrain tires is a little bit louder, and the engine is just a little bit less refined sounding than the smaller motor with the hybrid assist, but still good, still plenty passable, especially at $40,000. So the living with and the driving come together to form this perfect union in the third category of how well does this vehicle execute its mission. The Hyundai Santa Fe sets out to be the best car for as many people as possible. Yes, you can go out and get more dedicated vehicles that are going to be better for off-roading, better for luxury, better for saving money, better for smaller families or larger families or towing. Yeah, there are other vehicles that are better at certain elements. But when you think of it as a spider graph and you think about having the most maximization in every category possible, I can't think of a better car on the new car market for 2024. This car is reasonably priced. It looks unique. Some people really don't like the styling. I personally do, especially in this orange color. Some people don't like it. That's okay. I'd rather have an interesting looking car than a boring looking car. So it's interesting. It provides all of the technology that you're going to want at this price point. It provides functionality for up to 7 people. It provides some towing, some kind of dirt road, mild off-roading capability. I mean, this is great. It really is. And if I had at least 2 kids and I needed to purchase a new car here in 2024-25, this would be it right here. It would be very close to this. It would be an SEL Hybrid Santa Fe. Now, it's not too often that you all get to see rainy car reviews here in Southern California, but this is the day that we had to shoot this review. no other day to do it. So let's talk about the other cars that the Santa Fe nudged out for Car of the Year. Second place was the Kia EV9. I love the EV9. It's so smooth to drive. I think it looks cool, great functionality, use, size. It's a lot of similarity to this car, a lot of maximization. However, you're paying more and you're committing to an electric vehicle lifestyle. Now, for some people, my wife, for an example, EV9 would probably be the way to go. I don't know if we could stomach the cost, but maybe if they gave us a great lease deal, then we would go with that. And it's going to make for a fantastic day-to-day driver around town, and for moderate distances. You could even charge it quickly if you wanted to take a road trip. However, some people simply are not ready to go with the electric lifestyle, and also it'd be hard for me to look you in the eye and tell you it's a better idea to spend $70,000 on the EV9 when you can get something like this similarly equipped for $45,000 or $50,000, even up to the calligraphy model. And if you get the hybrid, it's still very efficient as well. So the EV9 does some things better, but the Santa Fe is more universally appealing for more people. And then third place is the Ford F-150. I'm a little bit of a truck guy, so there's a little bit of personal bias there. But the F-150 also provides so much usability and lifestyle complementing for so many people. Not only is it a truck, which is great to own, especially if you have a house, if you're a homeowner, it's great to have a pickup truck around for doing house-related things, but also it's got a very spacious cabin, and it was so great to spend time in. Even in the Raptor 37 model we had, it was quiet, comfortable, easy to drive. I mean, they really have dialed in the F-150 so well. But again, a lot of people don't have use for a truck. A lot of people, my wife included, would rather not have a pickup truck, because when it comes to getting things like groceries or putting strollers in the back or whatever, she'd much rather have a trunk or a cargo area than a pickup bed. She has no use for that. And it's a large vehicle. I mean, there's no getting around the F-150 being so big. So as much as the F-150 is a fantastic truck and a fantastic vehicle, I understand why people wouldn't pick it. Plus, you're spending a decent amount of money. I mean, go to the F-150 build configurator and try to just get something with full-size bed, full-size cab, and heated seats, and you'd be amazed how much you're already looking at spending. So F-150 is not necessarily the best option for somebody who's a little bit on a budget as well. And that's where, again, the Santa Fe, being able to purchase this reasonably spec'd for $37,000 and get a 10-year warranty, it's the way to go. And then the Hyundai Tucson was also right up there in the top 3 or 4 as well, if I remember correctly. And for me personally, right now, with only one wife and one child, I would probably go with the Tucson. You get a very well executed product at a lower price point that's a little bit smaller and a little bit nicer to drive because it is so much smaller. But I do think the Santa Fe is a little bit cooler and a little bit more functional for more people. And because of that, a little bit better of a bargain as well when you look at the price. So this just barely edged out the Tucson and being just that much cooler and functional. There it is, the 2024 Daily Motor Car of the Year, the Hyundai Santa Fe. If you're in this sort of market, if you need a family hauler for you or your partner, you would be doing yourself a disservice to not check out the Santa Fe. And it's not to say there aren't other great cars in this class. I do like a lot of the other offerings from Toyota, from Honda. I mean, this is the compact and mid-size crossover markets are the most competitive in the United States right now. And that's where manufacturers are putting a lot of their money, outside of manufacturers like Ford, who for some reason think it's a better idea to spend money on new Mustangs instead of something like the Edge and the Escape. But most brands who have their wits about them are putting a ton of money into developing their midsize and compact crossovers. So it's not a surprise to me that this is one of the best polished products here in 2024-25. But for me, this is the best one I drove last year. So thank you all so much for watching and tuning in. If you do want to see more on this Santa Fe or the hybrid one that we drove, check the link below, and we'll see you on the next one. Congratulations, Hyundai. You're the first second-time Daily Motor Car of the Year winner. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.